You're listening to Comic Reflections, episode 258. I'm your host, Nicholas Prom.
And I'm Spencer Valadez.
Comic Reflections is brought to you by The Outhouse. You can find our show and other nifty content at theouthousers.com. And if you enjoy this program,
rate and review us on iTunes or Stitcher.
and subscribe.
Oh, and subscribe.
Yeah, it's really good if you do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
I like that more than you rating and reviewing
Well,
us.
I think it's an equal like. I want people to subscribe because it's nice. It's good. Come on, it's convenient. It gets downloaded automatically to your smartphone whenever we have new content, which is frequent. But but we also want reviews as well. But anyway, we're going to talk about a couple of issues of Walt Simonson Thor stuff today. So starting with the Mighty Thor number 342. Cover dated April 1984. The cover art penciled and inked by Walt Simonson. We want to talk a little about this cover.
Yeah. I think that's just a mysterious warrior right there. Standing in front of a lit up Thor.
There's kind of like lighting, but this character plays a major role in this and the next issue.
Yeah.
This is a great kind of, there's several subplots going on. Mm-hmm. But there's a nice little 2-issue arc going on here that you snatched up for $0.25 a piece at half-price books.
Yes.
Gold. But anyway, the story in this issue is called The Last Viking, written by Walter Simonson, penciled by Walt Simonson, and inked by Terry Austin. You remember Terry Austin inked much of, if not all of, John Byrne's X-Men run.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But anyway, let's talk about this.
Yeah. Opening splash panel. Just beautiful spider, Asgard.
Yeah, it's rad.
And that's pretty much it.
I love in Asgard you can see all the outer spaceness.
Yeah. So we have this scene with Odin kind of opening up our story. And he's basically, he's bummed because within the halls of Valhalla, all of the seats are filled with mighty warriors from history. Yeah. However, there is one seat left open, and it's been open for a long time. Yeah. And he's worried about it. He's like, who is this missing guy? Right. He's just not here. And so Odin, he's a little worried about it because he senses that
a disturbance in the force.
Yeah, well, kind of, yeah. Like, he realizes it's empty, he wants it filled, but he also has this kind of dread, like, when it gets filled, he feels like something bad is going to happen at the same time.
We know that the death of Baldur will bring about Ragnarok.
Right.
So this could perhaps be like an omen for that.
Exactly.
I mentioned pre-show, I love how Odin speaks like Manowar lyrics. Yeah. Like that's his dialogue. Right. Well, there's plenty of Manowar lyrics about Odin, so it's fitting. Yeah. In 1984, Manowar released, if I'm remembering correctly, they released 2 albums that year. Hail to England and Sign of the Hammer, Sign of the Hammer has a song about Thor.
Right, yeah.
Actually, a couple, I think. Thor the Powerhead being one of them. Mm-hmm. But rad stuff. They're the perfect soundtrack to this, really. And honestly, it's in a way that I think that year was probably their creative peak as far as volume and quality. I mean, 2 albums in 1 year, and they're both mega classics. Right. So, yay. Mm-hmm. Yay, Manowar. Anyway, back to this comic book.
Right. So I'm going to skip ahead a little bit in this.
Oh, is this a subplot?
Yeah. So there's this guy, and he's in front of a massive crowd of just humanoid people, or humanoids, and he is hammering something out. We don't know who it is.
I know who it is.
Well, yeah, I know who it is now too, but we don't know who it is.
But he's forging a mighty sword.
Yeah.
He looks like a monster.
Yeah.
But we don't get like a full reveal of his face or anything.
Right.
Or name.
The only thing we do get from him is I'm making this sword. Also, hey, Odin's ravens are here. They're dead.
Great, Odin's ravens!
Yeah, and he proceeds with this boom, kills Odin's ravens.
Which is not cool, man.
No, not at all. And so kind of jumping back a little bit.
I'm already not liking your plan to jump around instead of just going straight forward through, even though there are subplots.
Yes. So Thor, at this point, has given up his...
Don Blake identity.
Yeah.
And he's just going around as this character, Sigurd Jarlson.
Yeah.
Who is like basically a kind of a Clark Kent to Thor.
Yeah.
But like, it's so obvious that he's Thor.
Right. Yeah.
He wears the blonde hair and a ponytail. He's a construction worker.
He put on glasses.
Yeah.
So you can't tell the difference between people if they're not
Right.
wearing glasses.
Right.
I wear glasses, but when I take them off, I look like Brad Pitt. I do. Anyways, yeah. So at this point, Thor has fought the dragon Fafnir.
Yeah, I guess in the previous issue.
Yeah, right before this, he fought and defeated the dragon Fafnir, and Fafnir isn't like dead. He like ran away.
Yeah, I guess.
He's just not here anymore.
Yeah. So anyway, in the wreckage, or in that, Thor saved this gal, as Sigurd Jarlson, saved this gal. She's being carted off in an ambulance, and she wants to repay him. It sounds like sexually.
Yeah.
And she's like, I'll call upon you, or something like that.
It is not subtle.
No, it's not.
The way she wants to.
But let me tell you something. Walt Simonson, even a gal laying down on a stretcher, she is beautiful.
Right.
Like he draws these vixens. And it's really nice because he draws them. It's very just rendered beautifully, and it's not like trashy looking. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're right.
They're just these women he draws. They're lovely, and there's no the sexuality comes across without it being exploitative or for lack of. I'm not finding the word I'm looking for, but
I know what you mean.
Okay.
I don't know what word you're searching for either.
I don't know, but carry on, please.
So Thor is like, okay, thanks, lady. And it's kind of in his own
I'm going to go drink my cookies and milk.
Right. And so he heads down an alley, and he talks about, like, in his like mind, he's talking and saying, hey, I keep hearing this voice. I'm going to follow it. And it's some voice that's been calling to him for a while. He smacks his hammer on the ground, becomes Thor, and takes off after this random voice in the middle of, just kind of in his head.
Yeah.
And so he takes off, and he ends up going over into Antarctica. And I did have a question. Where he land? He follows this kind of like ravine into a cave, and then through the cave he comes out, and it's like green land and like a forest. Almost.
Yeah.
Is this? I assumed it was the Savage Lands.
With the dinosaurs.
Yeah.
It is not.
It's just another place in Antarctica that is brimming with life. Sweet. So now that we know that, I'm happy. Sorry. A volcano's heat radiates from the very ground to fill this crater with. Oh, okay. So it was a crater. Sweet, I guess. So not Savage, but he does come across like a village, and he comes across hey, this village was recently
occupied.
Hey, there's a bunch of graves here. And as he's kind of looking over the graves, he notices a giant door with like a ram's head over the top of it. He's like, I guess I'll go in there. That's where the voice is beckoning me. And as soon as he walks through the door, the doors close, and he's immediately beset by like
spears,
and he's attacked. And sorry, my notes. And then we're kind of like cut off. We have to move over to Asgard out beyond the walls of Asgard.
Right. We go back to another subplot.
Right.
Where Balder the Brave sits at a fire.
Balder is alone in the woods, where he's kind of like sought solace and like quiet to kind of like.
He's gone through some stuff of late, and we're not.
Yeah.
I'm not really clear exactly what happened to him.
Right, but I don't think we need to know. We just need to know that he's
been going through some stuff.
Yeah.
And with him is Carnilla, Queen of the Norns.
Yes. I had some notes. She's in love with Balder. She's kind of an enemy of Asgard.
She has a reputation for being bad and evil and stuff, but she's not wicked to him at all.
Right.
I mean, she isn't... I don't know about his perception of her. I mean, she is not evil towards him.
Towards him. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. But they have this kind of short talk, and she touches his face, and he moves her hand. She basically invites him back to her keep. I don't know necessarily to, like, do anything sexual, but says, hey, if you need some peace, you need some quiet, my doors are always open.
Yeah.
And so he's like, nah, I'll be fine out here.
Yeah, he doesn't... The Norns are not friends of Asgard, but...
Right.
And, you know, Balder is nothing if not noble. Or loyal is the word I'm looking for.
Right.
So...
So jumping back to Thor, he is kind of... So he gets through the spears, he's fine. But he kind of starts seeing, like, dead people around who have been killed by these that trap, and then he's kind of like attacked by like a bunch of different traps. There's like crazy spiked hammers that attack him, flames.
Man, it's worse than Vietnam.
Yeah, it's terrible. But finally, as he gets through all of the traps,
he confronts this armored warrior.
Yeah. And, like...
Who looks pretty badass.
Yeah, totally. Has, like, snake, I think, like, things over
on his headdress?
Yeah. Has a giant spear. And immediately, he's like, thank God you came. We're gonna fight. And immediately attacks Thor. He chucks his spear at him, misses. Thor jumps up and nails him with Mjolnir.
Yeah.
And he removes the helmet and... by the gods, I can't believe it. And,
right, and then we go back to another subplot.
Yeah.
Fafnir has awakened.
Yeah, and he's pissed.
Yeah, he is.
He was so angry that he kind of, like, got defeated by Thor. And he's like, you know what? I'm going to go back to the Bronx, and I'm going to tear it apart.
You're doing the world a service.
Yeah.
But seriously, folks. Yeah, so he's going to destroy the city.
Yeah, he's going to start with where he last fought Thor.
Yeah.
Because Thor was kind of protecting that area. That's where Sigurd Jarlsson has kind of made home. So, yeah, Fafnir awakens. He's going to break up the Bronx. And he's just kind of doing it until Thor shows up. He's going to...
Yeah, subplot of a subplot.
Right.
The gal that Sigurd rescued from the construction site during Fafnir's attack, who probably didn't actually need rescuing if you think about it.
Yeah.
She is plotting bewitchment against Thor. Do we want to reveal who this is?
I don't think the story reveals it, but we can.
It's Lorelei.
It's Lorelei. Yeah, sorceress, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But she's mixing a golden mead that's gonna like seduce Thor into doing her bidding. And so we jump back to Thor, and he's basically beating up an old man.
Yeah, really old guy.
Yeah.
But under the armor made him look like he was a big, powerful warrior.
And so Thor's not gonna just beat down an old man.
Yeah.
So he uses, which is great, he uses Mjolnir, spins it, and like
drills through this cave up to the surface.
Yeah.
Which is rad.
Right.
And that's with one hand, and then the other arm he's carrying this old guy.
Yeah. And then we kind of get to know this old guy. His name is
Aleph.
And he's called Aleph the Lost.
Yeah.
Because he was a Viking, and they just kept going farther and farther south to like prove their like badassness.
Yeah.
And he ended up just kind of getting stuck in this land.
Yeah.
And so he's like, all right, I guess we'll start doing civilization. And so he like built up a community with his people, and he kind of lost some of his Viking edge.
Right.
And he's decided, I'm going to get it back. I'm going to enter Valhalla, and I'm gonna challenge Thor to a fight.
Yeah, I'm going to die a warrior, not die in a bed.
Yeah.
Which, I'd rather die in a bed, personally.
Yeah, absolutely.
But, I'm not a Viking.
So Thor, who decides, it's probably time to get back, and actually deal with Fafnir. He said, he kind of, the way this story ends is with, let me just double check. Yeah, the way the story ends is him saying, your life is now mine. Like, he's going to take his life, pick up your sword.
Right.
We're going to go, and your life is mine. Like, so we're going to...
So we are left thinking Thor is going to just kill this guy.
Right, yeah.
Which isn't really the case. Before we carry on, I do want to talk about this great house ad for a Marvel Comics storyline you may have heard of, Marvel Superheroes Secret Wars.
Yeah.
It's written by Jim Shooter and drawn by Mike Zeck, and it is a load of fun, even if it is not the most serious or, earth-shattering as far as, whatever. It is loads of fun. It is an essential read.
Yeah.
I'm trying to convince Spencer because he's letting one other person's opinion tell him not to read it.
One thing I wanted to actually mention was the page next to it.
Right. Under the letter column, there is a strip of 3 panels, which apparently you're supposed to cut out and paste in the previous issue of Thor, where it was left blank, which I cannot confirm or deny.
Right.
I hate when you have to cut out stuff because I don't want to cut up comics.
Yeah.
But whatever, it's the last page, but stuff.
So moving right along.
Now.
Oh, now we.
And now we'll take a quick promotional break.
Trekker Talk, a fan podcast devoted to the adventures of 23rd century bounty hunter Mercy St. Clair from the pages of Trekker Comics by creator, writer, and artist Ron Randall. I'm Darren.
And I'm Ruth. We'll be discussing the stories, characters, and art in this excellent retro sci-fi adventure series, as well as having side conversations about other areas of fandom.
We hope you'll join us as we travel from the dangerous back streets of New Guelph to the depths of outer space and everywhere in between.
Trekker Talk is available at podbean.com and on iTunes and Stitcher.
Find us at trekkertalk.com.
Which is the hottest Marvel character?
Iron Man.
Ant-Man. I can't decide between Professor X and Magneto, so both.
Loki.
Is Wolverine Marvel?
What about White Tiger?
What about White Tiger?
Doc Samson?
Doc who?
Star Fox?
That's a video game.
The girls go on a journey to determine every Marvel character's hotness in Ohatmu or Not, the official handbook of the Marvel Universe podcast you didn't know you wanted. Available on iTunes and at fireandwaterpodcast.com.
And we're back. Now we're going to talk about The Mighty Thor, number 343, cover dated May of 1984, with cover art penciled and inked by Walt Simonson.
Again.
Well, yeah, it's his run on the book. He's doing everything, really. Well, he's writing and doing the art.
Right. Oh.
Yeah, later he'll be just writing.
Mm-hmm.
But at least at this point, anywho, great cover.
Yeah. So we have a monstrous green hand.
Fafnir.
Yeah, Fafnir.
Thor and what's his name?
Aleph.
Aleph, yeah.
Aleph.
Thor and Aleph in battle with Fafnir on the cover.
Yeah.
Pretty bitchin'.
Yeah, sweet. Giant spear again.
Yep.
Mjolnir. All good.
Yeah. Winged horses.
Yeah.
It's got it all.
Yeah.
Marvel Comics.
Marvel Comics.
So the story in this issue is called If I Should Die Before I Wake. Written and drawn, penciled and inks, by Walter Simonson.
Yeah.
Good job, Walt. Love the splash panel of Fafnir destroying the crap out of stuff, calling out Thor, calling him a coward. Let me tell you, this is so much Kirby monster wonderfulness. Good job. Good on you, Walt.
Where did we find? We found a Kirby Grog.
Grog. Oh yeah, but you Google image and Kirby monsters come up, and there's lots of dragony type of monsters. He did more than a few.
Right.
Remember Fin Fang Foom?
Yeah.
Yeah, love Fin Fang Foom.
Bring me the son of a cursed Odin, or I shall destroy the entire city. He's starting with the Bronx, which again,
yeah. Have you seen the movie Escape from the Bronx?
No, I haven't.
It's rad.
Okay.
Yeah, it's actually part of a trilogy called the Bronx Warriors trilogy, and these are fun movies.
Yeah,
exciting stuff. Anyway,
so yeah, Fafnir's destroying the city. Meanwhile,
Lorelai is looking sexy on the couch,
scantily clad.
Yeah, Jeff would love this. God, he's such an old perv.
Makes me so uncomfortable.
What?
He's such an old perv.
Man, I have standing orders to Sean to like edit out if he gets extra creepy. Like,
yeah.
But yeah.
So she's like, I wonder if
Thor's gonna come over and bone me later or something. I don't know.
Well, yeah.
I think that's what she wants, right?
I don't know.
And also notice this. This is going on with Lorelai and Thor, and also Carnilla, Queen of the Norns, is trying to get Balder. So this is kind of working in tandem.
Yeah.
I don't think Lorelai and Carnilla's plans are working together. Maybe they are, maybe they're not. But it's interesting.
Right. So she's actually wondering where Thor is at this time.
Well, where has my underdog gone? Where could he be?
Exactly. And she's like, why isn't, like, the military can't do anything, and they're trying.
Also, why are there no other superheroes showing up to fight a dragon? It is New York.
Yeah.
It's crawling with superheroes.
Absolutely.
But maybe they're busy.
Wait,
really, if this is 1984, wait a sec. It's 1984.
Uh-huh.
They're away doing the Secret War.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Why isn't Thor there?
Because they didn't take him.
Okay.
They didn't take everybody.
Right. Okay.
They didn't take the whole Fantastic Four. They didn't take every single character. They didn't take every Avenger. They took a bunch of the Avengers. Yeah, Thor isn't there.
Mm-hmm. So,
wait a sec. No, wait a sec. It's been a long time since I've read Secret War, but I'm not.
If this is what did you say, May? So Secret War.
Oh, wait a second. But how do you know?
It said it in the last issue.
But that could be cover dated January. By the way, cover dated April probably is January.
Oh, okay.
Or February.
Yeah.
So, but also, I think what they did with Secret Wars is they had...
Begins this January.
Okay, yeah, fine. But that can mean cover dated, not on sale date.
Okay.
It's different. Those dates are different.
Okay.
You're killing me, Smalls. But I remember now that they had the 12-issue maxi series, and of course that went over, I don't know if a whole year, but a while. Mm-hmm. I can't remember how frequently they put it out, but literally they had like the next issue. They'd be like have an issue where the heroes were missing or whatever, and then the next issue came back, and you just had, and it made sly references to Secret Wars, but you had to wait out the series to do it. They wouldn't do an event like that again, but this was the beginning of event books.
Right.
Literally. Secret Wars was the first one, and then the following year DC did Crisis, and then both of them has done a major event every year, and now multiple ones every year, and it's exhausting, and I don't want to talk about that anymore. So anyway, back to Thor.
She's wondering where Thor is, because she wants him to come deal with Fafnir, so she could end up dealing with him. Maybe. I don't know what she's going to want to do with him. Anyways, back in Antarctica...
Put yourself in Lorelai's shoes. No, don't. I'm kidding.
No, thank you.
Are they in Antarctica?
Yeah, they're still there.
Oh, okay.
They're hanging out.
Thor and
Aleph.
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 Why I cannot remember that,
Right.
like in a space of several minutes.
He's kind of throwing himself a pity party.
Yeah, well, he's old and stuff.
Yeah. And he just all he wants is to be able to enter Valhalla.
Yeah, it's actually a pretty lofty goal. It's not like all I want to do is go to Disneyland before I die of cancer. Come on, Mom and Dad. It's not like that. Well,
Yeah.
maybe that's not the best example.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't know. Is that a good one?
For Disneyland?
All I wanted was a bowl of ice cream. All I wanted was a Pepsi, and she wouldn't give it to me. It's not exactly a modest request.
No, it's not. And Thor even mentions this. He says, look, only my father and his Valkyries can decide who sits in the hall of the cherished realm.
Man.
But for old time's sake, because this guy still sees Thor as the god of his people. Or his patron god who would smite the fools that were...
Yeah, remember, this is the modern age. Few to no people worship the Norse gods.
Right. This guy still does. And so he's like, you know what? For old time's sake, don your armor. Let's go kick some butt.
Hey, I had a question. Oh, Thor gives him this rad pep talk, too.
Yeah.
It is
totally
awesome.
True.
And I can't even do it justice. It's just dope. You need to be reading this issue.
Yes.
Own it.
Yeah. Easy to find. I found it for a quarter.
Yeah.
And so, massive pep talk. He gets his armor back on. He's like, let's do this. And then he's like, you're going to carry me the whole way? Thor's like, no way. We're going to do this. Awesome. And so he calls down one of the steeds of the Valkyries.
The winged ones.
The winged ones. And his
chariot that's drawn by these two, rad goats.
Yeah, what were their names? Tooth Gnasher and Tooth Grinder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is fun.
Yeah.
And Thor bestows... he asked Odin for that. And they waited for half an hour.
Yeah.
But then they open... Basically a boom tube opens up. I know.
Right. Yeah.
But that's basically what it is. And they come through. Then Thor, because, Aleph is old and can't do anything, Thor bestows upon him some magic that gives him youthful vigor.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
Yeah, Odin hath heard and granted my plea. Aleph, last of the Vikings, into battle we ride together.
Man,
so they're going to go...
totally bitching.
Yeah, the full page splash.
Of the winged horse and stuff. This issue is so dope.
Yeah. So we take a moment and we're going to...
Back to Asgard.
Yeah.
Carnilla is talking to
Hag, who
did I say pre-show? She is totally Desaad.
Yeah.
From the New Gods.
So Camilla is in a key when she's totally distressed by Baldur's depression. And
she's depressed by someone else's depression?
Yeah.
Okay.
She's upset because she thinks it's Loki's doing. And I think she actually mentions that it is Loki's doing.
Well,
and
I wouldn't be surprised.
She swears vengeance against him.
Good.
Yeah. But kind of all the while, Hag is like, wait, what? No, are you sure this is what you want? Don't you hate Asgard?
Yeah, plus Baldur's a square. But Carnilla will have none of it, and she threatens Hag with harm.
Yes. Because that's what you do with your minion. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. If Skeletor has taught us anything... Darkseid, too. He's pretty bad to his guys.
Yeah.
He would kill... He would use the... What are the Darkseid's beams? The Omega beams? Yeah, the Omega beams. He would kill Desaad and, then reintegrate him back to life when he decided he wanted him for something.
Yeah.
That really happened.
Yeah.
Okay, anyway.
So we jumped ahead a little bit. So this is where we get Thor's pep talk.
Oh, sorry, I missed.
But as he lets Aleph touch Mjolnir.
Yeah.
And that's what gives him his strength back. And he rears up on the steed and he's totally excited to go fight.
Yeah. They're gonna fight a dragon.
Right. But prior to them leaving, they run into this old guy who's just kind of wandering around.
And I was like, is this Gandalf?
Yeah.
It totally looks like Gandalf.
Another in the Valley of the Lost?
Yeah.
They ask, and They talk to him, and then they just like, all right, whatever, old guy, and take off to fight Fafnir.
Yeah.
But as they turn around, he's nowhere to be found. So,
Okay.
magic-y.
So back to
The mysterious Smither is what I call
it's
him.
totally Surtur
Yeah.
forging a wicked ass sword.
Yeah.
Named Twilight.
Named Twilight, that's right. That was my note.
Yeah,
Okay.
Surtur the fire demon.
Yeah.
He's a real jerk.
Yeah.
So back to Earth. Da-da-da-da-da. Fafnir is kicking the crap out of the Bronx
National Guard.
and the National Guard.
Yeah, just laying to waste. They're totally
Yeah.
not being able to do anything. But then, Thor and Isla show up.
Yay!
And it is an awesome fight. There's some dialogue, but I think, personally, I could have just looked at these pictures and known exactly what Simonson was trying to get across. He didn't need any dialogue.
Well, he's a master of the form. Right. It was great.
Yeah.
And in the Marvel Comics tradition, fighting and fighting and fighting
Exactly.
for several pages. But it's great.
Yeah. So we have to actually take a pause here, and we go to the Rainbow Bridge.
Where Heimdall is checking stuff out.
Yeah. And when I first saw this panel here, it's kind of in the middle of the page, I thought he was wearing glasses.
Right, that's
And
his
I'm like,
mask.
what? Why does he need glasses? But, yeah. So it was just his mask. But what he sees is this kind of blackness coming at him from space.
Right. And it's Odin's Raven.
Yeah. And it flies by, and he doesn't know where the other one is. Which one was this?
I don't know.
It was, I know. Hold on. Maybe not. Oh, well.
It doesn't really matter.
No, it doesn't. One of them is dead, and the other one has survived,
But barely.
barely, and lands on the Rainbow Bridge, and that's not good because Odin's not in Asgard.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Where could Odin be?
Exactly. And then we get, so back to Earth, we get
Midgard.
Midgard,
Yeah.
fine.
I did it too. So
Chuck Charcoal.
I wonder if this is supposed to be
for-
analogous to some newsman.
Yeah, I
don't
thought so. But he's reporting on this fight between Fafnir and Thor and Eilif.
It's kind of amusing.
And Thor decides, I just got to give him all I got.
Word.
And a massive, it looks like an explosion in the middle of
Right.
the city. Oh, Twin Towers. Hey, look at that.
Hey, they still existed in the 80s.
They did. And it didn't do anything to Fafnir. It doesn't even really phase him. But what it does do, it makes Fafnir angry, and he lets out a blast of his fire.
And he
breath?
hits Aleph on the winged steed, and
Yeah.
Aleph falls.
Right. So high. Oh, so high. Is what he cries. Aleph! Thor screams. And while Thor is distracted, Fafnir knocks his chariot.
Yeah, and so Thor falls out of his chariot, gets hit by the whapping tail of a dragon,
Exactly, yeah.
and
But this causes Eilif to this can't be how it ends.
right.
And so he struggles
He's lost the magic.
Yeah.
So he's only has his mortal strength left.
because he feels that Thor has been brought down. Thor's vitality was keeping him.
Oh, I see. Okay. So, but anyway, Aleph gathers his spear and jumps from a peak or a cliff or something to strike Fafnir.
Yeah,
And
it barely pierces him.
Yeah, which is amazing.
Yeah, and Fafnir just immediately swats down Eilif.
Right, to his death.
Yeah.
But then Thor,
Seeing the spear in Fafnir's back,
he knows this is the weak spot. This is where I can get Fafnir. He strikes with his a mighty blow, pounding the spear into Fafnir, killing him.
Fafnir.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man.
He rushes to Eilif's side, and Eilif is dead. And he is totally distraught. He's just kind of met this guy, but
This guy represented the last of an ancient culture. Really.
Oh,
A culture that Thor has a great kinship with, for lack of a better term. So, so Thor
then we kind of move to the perspective of some of the National Guardsmen.
Yeah, they're
and
like,
they start
holy
kind
crap.
of telling the story for us. So that we find out that Thor is building a funeral pyre with the rubble of the Bronx.
Right. And they'll also explain that Fafnir, like a Viking, they're giving he's going to give Aleph a Viking funeral, a funeral pyre. And at the foot of a Viking's pyre, I guess you would put a dog.
Right.
And, well, Fafnir is taking the place of the dog.
Right, which is crazy, like...
This is awesome!
Yeah.
So Thor summons all his, power and lightning and stuff, and starts the big funeral pyre, and then here comes the Valkyries. Yeah, I love a Cthulhu.
Yeah.
To take Aleph to Valhalla.
Right. And so kind of in the background...
Superimposed in the background.
Yeah, we see the old man with his staff, and obviously... It's Thor. Or not Odin, sorry.
Yeah,
it's
and then it occurred to me, I didn't remember this until then, how Odin looked like Gandalf. I was like, wait a sec, that's the classical representation of Odin in Norse mythology. Mm-hmm. The comic book Odin looks cooler, but it's not really accurate to the stuff. So this is great.
Yeah.
Super rad.
But only a few see more than the play of lightning and the dancing shadows, and none see the looming figure that towers over all, as Father Odin and his Valkyrie maidens welcome the last Viking. As the wild riders disappear into the night, let's go home, Corporal. There's nothing more to see here.
Yeah, the National Guard say that.
So they're taking him home to Valhalla.
Yeah.
So he kind of gets his wish.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
Kind of. He
rad.
totally gets his wish.
Yeah.
And he died in battle.
Right.
Like a Viking should.
Exactly.
And so, little epilogue, Sigurd Jarlson, Thor in his civilian identity.
Jarlson.
What did I say?
You said Jarlson.
Damn it.
It's all good.
Jarlson. Anyway, Sigurd Jarlson pays a visit to Lorelei under whoever she's going at, Melody or something like that is her
Melody.
assumed name. But
With an I.
Yeah,
she's trashy.
Gross. Anyway, it's the 80s though.
Right.
So she invites him in for a drink, blah, blah, blah. Obviously, it's going to be the magic mead for whatever.
Exactly.
Who knows what's going on? All we know with next issue...
Why don't you take off your shirt?
Yeah.
That's what she says to him.
Yeah.
Click.
So, that's the end of our issue.
Yeah. Really, there's only one thing I kind of wanted to talk about a little bit.
Oh, okay.
And it was the fact that... so, typically when I've read Thor, Thor has been with the Avengers.
Oh, okay.
I don't have a lot of single Thor stories.
Probably the only time you've read single issue Thor or solo Thor stuff was like the 4 issues we've covered so far on the show.
I've read a few others.
Okay.
Just here and there. I think I have a few in my boxes. And there was a while I was buying some of the newer Thor stuff.
Oh yeah.
But
That's
even
right.
then, you don't get the godhood of Thor when he's with the Avengers,
Right.
Or
I
even
mean,
in today's modern.
he's just a superhero who talks Shakespearean with them.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
But here, at least in these 2 issues that we've read, when you really dive in and you read the whole story, we do a synopsis.
Yeah.
When you actually read the whole story, you get this sense of oh, crap, Thor is a god.
Yeah.
And people worshipped him.
Yeah.
And called on him to do cool stuff.
Yeah.
And sometimes he would answer.
Yeah.
And I think there's a disconnect between Thor and Avengers.
Yeah.
Who has to act within the team.
Sure.
And I'm a god and I do whatever.
Well, because here's the thing. In Thor and his solo adventures, he's going throughout the 9 realms, he's having all these adventures.
Right.
Look, when he's with the Avengers, he's just having a weekend off hanging with his buddies.
Right, yeah.
Okay, it's light stuff compared to the things that he deals with
yeah, I can see that.
throughout the Asgardian realms.
Uh-huh.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I really like that, seeing this aspect of Thor in my reading this week.
Yeah, and that is cool.
Yeah.
Okay. So, one of the things I want to start doing on this show is, I've just recently started, is reading some of our iTunes reviews.
Yeah.
And this one was written by Dave's WB, and he says, "Do you love classic comics? Each week, these guys review classic comic books. something you don't get on other shows. Definitely a great and unique podcast. If you are thinking of buying older comics and don't know where to start, listen to these guys to see what's worth collecting.
Oh,
Hey,
thanks,
pretty
Dave.
cool. Thanks, Dave. Neat.
Yeah, I think that's why we kind of wanted to do this show.
Why?
Is to get people to check out older comics.
Well, yes, and because we wanted to talk about them.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it's great that people listen to and like it. Yay!
Yeah.
I mean, I would do this if no one listened, but it's nice. It feels good
Yeah.
that, somebody gives a crap besides me.
Yeah.
That's really excellent.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's our show today.
Uh-huh.
Comic Reflections is recorded in Portland, Oregon, and produced by Sean Roof.
He's the worst.
He's really not. Until next time.
Stop and listen! Stop and listen to me! Listen! Listen! Listen to me! They're not human! Everyone! They're here already! You're next!
November 4th, 1988. Earth is invaded by an alien alliance composed of several species, including the Dominators, the Kuns, the Tanagarians, and the Durlans. And they want our superheroes. Even though Australia has been decimated, the United Nations response is unequivocal. Drop dead. First Strike, the Invasion podcast, takes you back to that moment in time and covers the entire Invasion DC Comics crossover. Issue by issue, tie-in by tie-in. Join Bass and Siskoid at fireandwaterpodcast.com or on iTunes. First Strike, the Invasion podcast, a proud member of the Fire and Water Podcast Network. Remember, Albert.
Xenozoic Xenophiles.
A fan podcast devoted to the comic series Xenozoic Tales.
It's a post-apocalyptic adventure series filled with Cadillacs and dinosaurs.
I'm Ruth.
And I'm Darren.
We hope you'll join us as we discuss the stories, characters, and art in this excellent comic series from creator, writer, and artist Mark Schultz.
Xenozoic Xenophiles is available at podbean.com and on iTunes and Stitcher.
And find us at xenozoicxenophiles.com.